know I'm late and all, but I'm going to just say this because, it's been out. But this kind of proves my point. I'm in a group chat, too, so we was just talking about this. Well, first of all, rest in peace and much respect to the late, great Kobe Bryant. But Kobe Bryant is not top 3. He is a GOAT. He is not the GOAT. LeBron, I know it's different styles, and sometimes it's hard to compare styles, and then a part of me says, yeah, we should just respect the greatness of everybody. But this is what we do. We competitive, and we like to compare and contrast and juxtapose the greats. But Kobe was just not better than LeBron. Just keeping it a buck. I mean, as far as his game, LeBron's just well-rounded overall game is the most well-rounded and best overall game we've ever seen. You know what I mean? If you want to say as a scorer and shit like that, but even the numbers debunk that. So really what it comes down to is like people having nostalgia over, growing up watching Kobe play and watching his style of play and just what that meant for them, what that did for them, yada, yada, yada. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what we do with all the basketball players and the rappers and the this and the that and things we consume, Michael Jackson, whatever. It's, part like Thriller is a really great album, and in part like it's just the way it made you feel watching it and doing the dance moves as a child or however old you was when it came out or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm 42 and Thriller is even slightly above my time, but I definitely remember dancing to it as a child. I was like scared of the monsters and shit like that. So when Michael Jackson would turn into the monster and shit, I had to leave the room. I had to, hey, get out of here. But and then ask my mom, Mommy, are the monsters gone so I can come back and hit that dance for you? But yeah, Kobe's not top 3, man. Basketball player. I don't know how we can put him above Kareem. What? Huh? His lane of how good he was to me is like the Tim Duncan, even the Karl Malone, even though Karl Malone didn't win championships. So maybe you hold that against him, but I think Kobe, Tim Duncan is a good, their careers and accomplishments are very, very comparable. 2 different styles of play, 2 different positions, but what they did at that position, and again, you can even argue that Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time. A lot of stuff is subjective, but like I said, the numbers and accomplishments are comparable. And Tim Duncan is a GOAT. He's just not the GOAT. He's top whatever he is in your, top 10, top 15, whatever. And that's what Kobe is for me. He's just in the mix, but he's not top 3. Okay, now, the real purpose of this, the God did verse, Jay-Z. That's not Jay-Z's best verse, people. I'm sorry. I don't know what, no shade of hate. It's not a bad verse at all. Kudos to Jay. But I think, I don't know. To me, it's like, that's only the best Jay-Z verse if you haven't been listening to Jay-Z this whole time or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you're a quasi Jay-Z fan. You sort of kind of like it, but you really like, other styles. You really like a Gucci Mane fan, right? And those 2 styles are 2 totally different styles. Or you're a Jeezy fan, or you're or some other shit. You don't really listen to Jay like that. You listen to drill or some shit, but this one particular song or verse or something, you're like, oh man, that shit is dope. And so you think that's Jay-Z's best verse. That's not Jay-Z's best verse. Or if you was like in high school when 444 came out or something, like you're a young person. I'm 42, you know what I mean? I'm not Jay-Z's age, but But I was in middle school and high school as Jay-Z, particularly high school, and then really college, when Jay-Z really was that dude talking about the Hard Knock Life tour. This is like, I graduated in 98. That came out in like 98. So, and then 98 is also my freshman year in college. Jay-Z, DMX were like the two of the biggest rap stars on the planet at that time. Def Jam was really killing it. But yeah, I mean, if your introduction to Jay-Z is more like, you know, 444, and I don't know, you came in the middle or something, you know what I mean? Then that's the best Jay-Z verse you ever heard, probably. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like Outkast or Three Stacks or something like that. Like if you came into Outkast with like Hey Ya, it's a different appreciation than when you was there at the ground level with Southern Playalistic and you saw and absorbed all that evolution of who they were as artists and musicians, and you heard, you were able to hear all of that music with a different set of ears, you know what I mean, than if you're just kind of going back and listening to it now. If you're a student, if you're really listening as a student, you're really studying, you can get it. But most music listeners really are just casual music listeners. It just is what it is. People who are creative and who maybe do music and enjoy it in a different way, critique it differently and hear it differently. You know, the music, the instruments, oh, this horn section, this bridge right here, oh, the way he puts this with that, that's different. Most people just, I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's the same, you know, most people are passionate about a handful of things, and then everything else that they like is just, it's really casual, you know what I mean? And music is like that with most people. I'm passionate about music. I participate in music. I just hear it differently than, you know, a casual listener. The thing is, most people who are really casual listeners don't consider themselves to be casual listeners. They think that they know what the fuck they talking about, like on a really deep level, all the ins and outs, and it's just casual, you know what I mean? And since music is so subjective, who gonna check them, you know what I mean? Versus, you can't be casual about like mechanical engineering, you know what I mean? Like you either know that shit or you don't, and when you don't, it's evident. All right, show me, what's the name of this part? Show me this, show me how it works. You know, music, as far as what sounds good and what's difficult and that's, you know, some subjective shit. So, but yeah, nah, that's not Jay-Z's best verse. I'm gonna say by far, dog. I'm gonna say it's some other, I feel like it's another Khaled feature or something that, you know, as far as his verse go, whatever, that is better. But, you know, I'm not here to nitpick Jay. It's not about, you know, what's good or not, or whack in his catalog or whatever. But yeah, that's not his best verse, unless you haven't been listening, or you came, you know, you on the back end or some shit. I get that Jay-Z now, I mean, you know, it's different. You listen to him differently than, you know, when you're listening to Reasonable Doubt. And that works both ways. Like, I'm not going to have probably the same experience. Well, I don't know. But I'm not going to necessarily have the same experience listening to Jay now than, you know, listening to Reasonable Doubt and this and that, when he was like literally the biggest rapper on the planet. Well, even that, I mean, it's not that he was ever the biggest selling rapper.